Welcome one and all to another. Okay, so that's jacked up. Welcome one and all to another edition of the Defo Show with Lubie. No Defo today here on 5 Reasons Sports Network. Just Lubie, always brought to you by the tremendous people at Water Cleanup of Florida. Look, this is getting to the time of year where people complain about South Florida. We love it because we're used to it, and it's beach weather, it's pool weather, but it's not always great for our homes, right? Whether it's water damage, fire damage, mold may pop up. However, because Water Cleanup of Florida is there, it doesn't have to stress you out. None of these issues have to be stressful because with over 60 years of experience between Michael, Robert, and their team, with licensed contractors, and the fact that you can get in touch with them 24/7, whatever issues will be figured out at your home and be fixed efficiently and easily, making your life less stressful. And isn't that what we're looking for? I know that's what I'm looking for. I presume that's what you're looking for. Just give them a call, 954-579-0356, 954-579-0356, or hit them up on their website, WCUFL.com, WCUFL.com. Also, if you mentioned 5 Reasons or Lubie, you will get a free inspection during business hours. Again, Lubie, 5 Reasons, mention either one, and you'll get a free inspection during business hours. And check us out on the socials, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, at Water Cleanup FL. Water Cleanup of Florida. We clean up your schmutz. So it is that interesting time in South Florida because the Heat are done. We're trying to focus on the Dolphins, but do we really care about the Dolphins just yet? They're in OTAs, and as much as you can complain about a Tua duck or pretend that you care about it to a bomb, it only matters so much. Yesterday, Defo brought up, and he got me going on the I guess CBS Sports released a list of the top quarterbacks in the AFC. Where do you think Tua's going to be? Literally, he's ahead of only the guys that aren't starters. Like Davis Mills is a starter because the Texans are tanking, and you have Zach Wilson, a guy that was horrendous in his rookie year. And people already think going into year two, the Jets are questioning what they're doing at the quarterback position. And then whatever's going on with the Steelers. Kenny Pickett, who was drafted in the first round by the Steelers. So Tua is ahead of those guys. And then Tua falls behind every other quarterback, which, come on. Like, if you watch Mac Jones, first half, yeah, accurate, whatever. The second half of the season, he wasn't good. And whatever the Patriots had, they actually had more talent because they had a real offensive line and a real running game over the Miami Dolphins. And Tua scorched the dude. Like, the dude is not comparable to Tua. Ryan Tannehill at this point, come on. We should all know what he is. So we talked about this yesterday, and this is something that sort of got in my craw because for years now, and it's funny, it's only the third year, but it feels like it's forever. Well, look, South Florida sports have had a lot of players that were divisive. Tannehill wasn't so much divisive because the opinion was pretty much, it wasn't one-sided, but it was like 75% of fans realized what Tannehill was. 25% sort of backed him because, look, what we've seen in Tennessee, if you give him a great offensive line, if you give him a great running back, if you give him really good receivers, Ryan Tannehill can win your regular season games. Okay. And then, for the most part, in the playoffs, when a quarterback needs to make plays, Tannehill can't do that. That's not who he is. He's average. He's whatever you put around him. Tua, people are, well, that's what you've said about Tua. No. I just think he should have competence around him. I think if you give Tua a really good offensive line and everywhere else, he'll be vastly superior to a Tannehill. Now the Dolphins don't even have that. The Dolphins have a legit offensive line for the most part. Legit running backs. Not great, but legit running backs. And good to great receivers with a great tight end, with a good to great defense, and a coaching staff that's centered and catering toward their young quarterback. You'll see what you saw of Tannehill and more to me. So I just find it interesting that Tua has become divisive when the dude's not had anything. He came off a hip injury. Brian Flores brought in Fitzpatrick, who is not a good starter, but has started enough. And you get your 3-4 games from him, and then you look like crap otherwise. That it did not give any assurances to Tua. And on top of that, you didn't give him any talent. So what do you want from him? Like, Justin Herbert's great. Okay, Justin Herbert has one of the best wide receiver duos in football. Justin Herbert had an offensive line that they went and improved it in year 2. And in year 1, as bad as it still wasn't as bad as the Dolphins' offensive line. Justin Herbert had a legit running back. Eckler may not light it up. The dude's a starting running back. He's a guy who you can count on in the NFL. Ahmed and Gaskin, come on. These are practice squad guys. And the Chargers defense wasn't good, so it forced them to throw it a lot and throw it deep, which was not in the repertoire of the play calling for the Miami Dolphins. So, to me, the Tua thing is, for him to be divisive is dumb. This is the year it matters. Yeah, it should. They gave him a ton of talent. Any quarterback that can't play well with this talent isn't an NFL quarterback. But he hasn't played with it yet. So, all this discussion around Tua Tagovailoa has been funny, and I get it. We're in a weird place because people still want to talk heat, but they're not playing, and they're not going to make moves right now. You still have the draft coming. Free agency isn't open really yet. There's a lot. What I find interesting about the Heat is the rumors and the truth. Bradley Beal came out and talked. The dude likes Washington, D.C. Good for him. The city, to me, I think, should matter to a certain extent, but when you're younger in your career and you're trying to establish yourself, and he's now established himself as a good player, but then you get to that next step where you want to win. The city, to me, look, I'd much rather be in South Florida than Cleveland. But if Cleveland gave me a better chance at winning, I could have a home in South Florida. To me, it should be about the winning. The Wizards aren't winning, and they're not going to be winning for a long time. So it's weird to me, and I get it. He's getting the money, and he wants to be a loyal guy. Okay, Giannis was a loyal guy because they at least had some success. The Wizards have had no success with him there. They had 1 year where they were interesting, came out of nowhere with John Wall, and then they lost. And you never really felt like they were going to make it to a finals and win. You've never felt they were a legit contender when he's there. And he's a good enough player to be a second star. I don't know if he's a number 1, but a number 2 on a championship team. The dude's averaging 29 a game the last 3 years. So he's interesting. The problem is, and Mr. Five Reasons himself has talked about this, Ethan Skolnick, until the players come out and ask for trades, if they're signed or willing to sign, then it seems like getting rid of them. The Donovan Mitchell thing is interesting because he doesn't want to be there. It's pretty clear. But he signed for 3 more years. So if you're the Jazz, you're not just getting rid of him. He could be pissed. He could be bothered. He's still going on playing. He's not playing his best. They didn't play as well as they should have versus a Mavs team that was with or without Luka Doncic. But he hasn't asked for a trade, so you're not going to trade him. So that's people, I think, down here in South Florida still are focused on the Miami Heat. I don't know why right now. My problem is there's nothing to talk about. We can do the conjecture game, and Defo makes fun of me. I love the conjecture game. The conjecture game is spectacular. And it's fun, but you can't even do conjecture right now. Guys aren't saying much. Whatever they're saying is pro their team. And on top of that, there's no movement right now. So we're in this really weird holding pattern sports-wise. The Marlins aren't good. They won a couple in a row against the Nationals, but they're not good. And they struggled to get any traction. Jazz Chisholm is a lot of fun, but everyone else around him is in offense, so you don't give a crap about Jazz Chisholm. Their pitching staff is actually really talented, but they don't score enough consistently for that to matter, and their bullpen sucks and has given up. They've lost more one-run games than anyone this year, and that's all on the bullpen. So, yeah, you don't care about the Marlins. And the Panthers flamed out quickly, and here I've seen by our numbers, when we talk Panthers, no one cares about the Panthers yet, and any momentum they would have built, gone. So it's interesting. To me, this is where we would turn toward the Dolphins and the Hurricanes, but Dolphins and Hurricanes have let us down so much that even though, look, the Dolphins have been very aggressive, have built the kind of team around Tua that you would think would allow him to succeed, they haven't won in 20 years. No, they haven't won in 40 years. Because even with Marino, the last time they went to a Super Bowl was when I was a newborn. I'm 39. So they haven't won even since with Marino, but they haven't been exciting since Marino. With Marino, they weren't winning, but you sort of could lie to yourself. You had a guy who was a top 5 quarterback in the league. You had a guy who was a Hall of Famer before he even retired. You had a guy that, was one of the all-time greats. Their defense was the talent was but you had Marino. It gave you something to hope for. You never know if things broke right. Plus, he was exciting. They haven't even been exciting in 20-something years. The Hurricanes, is it 15 years? Look, people say it's been since 2002. No, I mean, the couple years after they controversially lost to Ohio State in the title game, they still contended. 2002, 3, 4. They still were relevant, and they moved to the ACC. They were relevant. But since about 2005, so 16, 17 years, yeah, they had a year where they won 10 with Mark Richt and, 8, 9 wins here and there. They always ended the season poorly, always. And they either didn't make it to a bowl, or if they made it, they were going to lose the bowl for the most part. So the Canes, and that's been for over a decade. So even though we love our football down here, and when it's going on, we'll watch it, we'll talk about it. In June, with how we've been battered and bruised, it's really hard for us to get excited about football. Now, I've talked a lot of crap about the Canes because I didn't think they were able to do any of the stuff they've done this offseason because they haven't tried in the past. They don't have the money. Canes fans can talk about Ruiz and all this. Most of the schools, when it comes to athletics, are funded by boosters, plural, alums, plural, fans, plural. Canes are a small private school. And they're a small private school that has made it very clear they care about academics way more than athletics. Okay? So it's just, they don't get the public funding that these other schools get. And they have, 10,000 students, 15,000. These other schools have 50. And they're more national programs. The Canes haven't been national in a long time. So it's hard to compete financially. Plus, they weren't focusing on it this offseason, or Kirk Herbstreit, whatever you want to call it, pissed them off, and they focused on athletics, specifically football. Radakovich from Clemson, AD. Cristobal, who was not winning big, getting close with Oregon, but not getting over the hump, but doing a lot more than what Miami was doing. South Florida kid, played with the Canes, has done some coaching with the Canes, coached at FIU down here in South Florida. So he was a guy that a lot of people like me thought there's no way you're going to get him. You're at Oregon. Phil Knight has all the money in the world. They're happy with him. Well, Miami came big, and Oregon didn't match. Oregon was like, we're good. That's what happened. Whether Canes fans don't like that because what they offered him was less than they knew what Miami was going to offer him. And then when Miami came bigger, if you notice, there was a delay between Miami's offer and him taking the Miami job. He was giving Oregon a chance, and Oregon did not match it. So Miami did what they haven't done, and Oregon liked Cristobal, but they weren't going to pay him that money. It was pretty clear he had capped out. This last year, they beat Ohio State to start the year without Thibodeau, and then they still lose 3 or 4 games. That's my only question about Cristobal, but if you're the Canes, you're happy. I didn't think you could get him. And he brought in it took him a long time to get a coaching staff. It sort of became a joke. But when he brought in his coaches, he did a really good job. He brought in a lot of guys that have either had head coaching experience, long-time assistant experience, had in the past or currently or both been really good recruiters. The kind of thing that the Canes haven't had in a long time. So it's all the things that you should be excited. And there are a group of Canes fans that have lied to themselves and are talking titles, which that's going overboard. But the majority, I feel like, are being quiet because you don't know. Again, Dolphins and Canes have had really exciting off seasons. All the kinds of things most fans need to be loud and excited. But we've been beaten down the last 2 decades from both of the teams. So right now, it's funny. I'm trying to figure out what to talk about. And I'm interested in all of it. I'm curious what you guys are interested in. It'll be a fun offseason. And I'm a Florida State guy, so Florida State and other schools make fun of the Canes because every offseason they seem to do this or that makes their fans excited. They win the offseason, blah, 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 blah. This year, the Canes won the offseason. And it won USC. Bringing in Lincoln Riley and everything he's done with the transfers and low-key the staff and what they're going to do there is utterly insane. So between USC and Miami, they've won the offseason. And as much as people at other schools can mock that, look, all you can do is win the offseason now. Now when the season starts, we'll see. But right now, all we have is the offseason. So winning the offseason seems pretty good to me. So I think Dolphins and Canes fans will have an interesting year. I think Knowles and Gators fans. Look, Billy Napier is doing it weird. He's lamented the NIL, yet he brought in a kid, Kamari Wilson, who was a 5-star and had never visited the Gators until the week before signing day, and then magically he signs there. So I'm thinking there's money involved. I don't care how good Billy Napier is as a recruiter and how many coaches. He's hired a bigger staff than freaking Alabama. He's just hiring guys, which you should have a lot of guys. I don't know if you need the whole world to be in your staff. And Norvell, look, this is a big year for Norvell, for Florida State. He's on the hot seat now. I don't think he's under pressure now. It's year 3, year 1 with COVID. And they've steadily gotten better on the record, 3 to 5 wins. They have gotten better statistically offensively, and they got way better statistically defensively, which is your job. Now it's year 3. You have 3 recruiting classes under your belt. And The expectations aren't huge for Florida State. But to me, it's a 7 or 8 win year or bust. Now, he probably won't get fired, but if he doesn't win 7 or 8, he then will be on the hot seat next year. But veteran quarterback, he's done a lot with the recruiting for the offensive line, brought in transfer for the offensive line. The defense, as much as they lost a guy who was a first-round pick in Johnson, they've actually brought in some really good transfers and recruited pretty interestingly. So they're supposed to be better. So to me, if you're a football fan in South Florida, UCF, Gus Malzahn's done really good things with the transfers. They lost Gabriel, but I think there was a reason they lost Gabriel. Like he got hurt, and they liked the quarterback that came in behind him. USF, Scott, who was formerly with Clemson, the son of Brad Scott, who was a longtime FSU assistant. Jeff Scott doing some interesting things with USF. They brought in a really interesting quarterback transfer and did some really good things with the transfer portal. So even though we're sort of scared to talk about it down here in South Florida because we haven't had a lot of success with our football in the last 2 decades consistently, I think this will be a fun season. I don't know. One thing I will say for Canes fans is I would temper expectations. Like, either they're nervous or they think it's going to be like everything. They're going to be the next Alabama. Cristobal said it right. Look, it's going to take some time, and I don't think that's a bad thing. And I think you'll see success in a certain way immediately as well. I think it'll be a little bit of both. I think you can see them win 7, 8 games, maybe more, maybe less. We'll see. I think Van Dyke's interesting. The national attention for Van Dyke's a little confusing to me because the guy has a big arm. He put up really good numbers. He also makes a lot of stupid-ass mistakes and is immobile. Or they say he's mobile. I've never watched him be mobile without it looking like awkward. Yeah, he's not Mac Jones. He's more athletic than that, and he runs the 40 fast, supposedly. When I watch him play football, he doesn't want to leave the pocket. He rarely leaves the pocket. And he makes a lot of dumb mistakes. Now, I get it. He was a redshirt freshman. So he has a lot of room to grow. Showed a lot of promise. And I think he is one of the better quarterbacks in the ACC. We'll see where he stacks up nationally. They want to rank him. Or maybe he was a redshirt sophomore last year. I don't know. They want to rank him one of the best quarterbacks in the country. We'll see. I don't know what to do. Because when he got in big spots, he scared the crap out of me if I was a Canes fan last year. And I know he has all the tools and all that crap. We'll see about Van Dyke. I think the Canes will be improved. I think you have to watch out on expecting 10, 11, 12 wins. It'll come. Cristobal's going to recruit. The money we'll see. Ruiz has already lost a ton of money going public with his company. There's a lot of weird, smarmy crap with Ruiz. As much as people in Miami want to love Ruiz because he's loud, he brags, and he's shown numbers that he's a billionaire. No one had ever heard of him until like the last year. Like, that doesn't, like, if you're a billionaire, people have heard of you. So, and we're in Miami where a lot of weird stuff happens. I'm sorry if that bothers people, but that's the truth. So that's a weird combination. So I don't know if Ruiz is the guy, but it feels like at least Miami's focused with Radakovich on athletics, especially football. So it'll take a little time to get to championship level, but Cristobal's going to recruit, and I don't think he's going anywhere. So I think it's okay for us to focus on football. I don't know if people are ready yet. The Heat made it to Game 7, one final shot with like 15 seconds left from being in the finals. And the Heat are always active in the offseason, so I think people still are focused there. I'm turning my attention to football. I'm excited about it. Hopefully you all are excited about it. And always check us out mornings. Now, you can go to Facebook, The Defo Show with Lubie. You can go to YouTube. It's the South Florida Live YouTube channel. Also, on YouTube, look up The Defo Show with Lubie. And you can check us out. We have our exclusive content podcast, and that's every day, mornings, 7 to 9 live. And our South Florida content right here, of course. Our exclusive content podcast, The Believe Network, BLEAV.com, BLEAV.com. Just search After Hours. And again, right here, our South Florida content, The Defo Show with Lubie, right here on the 5 Reasons Sports Network.
Hey, folks, Tony Segreto here. Let me ask you a question. What do you look for when you go out to eat? Good food, obviously, friendly atmosphere, not too loud, but good energy, reasonable prices, and a place where you feel comfortable. All those ingredients, no pun meant there, are hard to find unless you're talking about the Texas Roadhouse. You see, they encompass all of those attributes. Really, really good food, amazing atmosphere, good for a family, good for a date, or just a night out for yourself, and prices that will make you extremely happy. Their ribs, unmatched. Steaks, hand-cut every day. Everything, and I mean everything, is made on site, including their incredible bread. It's the one day, folks, that you can forget about low-carb diets. Trust me when I tell you, Texas Roadhouse, your restaurant, your destination when you say, where should we go and eat tonight?
These days, we're all looking for comfort anywhere we can find it. Thank goodness for Landlubbers Raw Bar and Grill in the Plantation location, because they are making sure you are as comfortable as possible. First of all, they're not only open for delivery and pickup. All you have to do is go to landlubbersbarandgrill.com for both pickup and free delivery. Their hours have changed a little bit. Monday through Thursday from 3:30 to 10, and Friday, Saturday, and Sunday from 11:30 to 10. You're going to have the best wings in the world. You're going to have a great burger. You're going to have their amazing soups. Again, Landlubbers, Raw Bar, and Grill. It's nice and easy. Just go to landlubbersbarandgrill.com for both your pickup and free delivery. Thank goodness for Landlubbers for making you always feel right at home.